What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. I'm here with my co-host, Michael Williams. Mike, how's it going, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm glad we're back doing this, man.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, man. And the reason you folks clicked on the thumbnail, hot dang it, hot diggity dog. Folks, we're going to do a mock draft for the Denver Broncos. Wow, so much happened over there in the Mile High City. But check it out. We got not only one, but we have two scenarios. And you guys are going to take and vote down below in the comments section on which mock draft you like the most. One is going to be with trades, and the other one is going to be with no trades. And I'm at my co-host, Mike. Man, you're going to take the wheel today, man. Let's get it. You ready?
I'm excited, man.
Cool, man. And I like what you did, man. So I'm going to post this on my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're angry, if you're happy, you're sad, whatever it is, comment down below. We love interacting with the fans of the show. Here we go. First mock draft. Let's go. Boom.
Yeah, man. So I'm super excited about this. Obviously, this is the one we did with no trades. Part of the draft capital we're missing is from the Russ trade, of course. And I think that'll pay off a little bit better this year. But when you look at going into this offseason, Sean Payton fills some big needs that we had at tackle. We haven't had a right tackle since Ryan Clady's been there, and that was like 16, right? And we have that now. So some areas that we can use some development, some rotation pieces is D tackle / D end. Really, we run a 3-4. So some D tackles that you see in college could play defensive end for us, and some of them, like Keanu Benton, can actually line up as that middle of the 3-4. He's a big dude, real powerful. Wisconsin's used to playing tough football, great run stopper, and I think he can develop a little bit more with his pass rush. He would come in there immediately because Mike Purcell has been hurt pretty much every year since he's been with us. So we definitely need some depth behind that after losing Draymond Jones and a few other pieces we lost. So that was that first pick. We know our brother Super love this one, DJ Turner. A corner from Michigan, real quick.
Speedy corner too.
Speedy, yeah, and you know, we cut Michael Ojemudia, we cut Ronald Darby, freed up some cap space. Mathis and Surtain obviously are both balling for us, but having another rotation piece behind them, and he could potentially kick return. So DJ Turner, good size, real quick. And then, as we talked about, man, we got slammed with injuries, right? Yeah. Especially on the offensive line. Garrett Bowles was hurt. We went through 3 tackles on the right side last year, and then a tackle on the left side. We got hurt at guard, center, everything. Like pretty much everybody last year that could have got hurt in our line. So adding more depth, I think, is a good thing, and you'll see that with these back-to-back picks. Tyler Steen from Alabama is a guy that I think could come in and be a phenomenal backup, or he could play left tackle and right tackle in case somebody did get hurt and Garrett Bowles is coming off a broken leg. So I think it's good to have somebody behind him just in case. And Mike McGlinch, you never know. He's been relatively healthy, but it does help having a piece like that who can also play guard. He played guard at Bama for a quick second. He's a good rotation piece as well. And then Ricky Stromberg from Arkansas, man, I really like him a lot. As I was looking at some of these center prospects, there's about 4 or 5 that can come in mid-round picks and start really right away. And while Lloyd Cushenberry has done okay for us, especially in the pass game, his run blocking in our offense is transitioning into more of a running offense, I feel, based on what Sean Payton's moves have been this offseason. Ricky Stromberg excels in that, man. Real powerful guy, big guy, real strong, play down in the SEC at Arkansas. So I think that's somebody that can come in, worst case, be a backup for center and guard. He has experience with both those. Best case, he can push for that starting spot. And that's not a bad ask of like a late round pick. And then finally, Deneric Prince. There's a few different backs that are on the board, but something I know that we do need and we will be looking to add at some point this offseason is an explosive player. And he is nothing but explosive. Javonte Williams, obviously. Samaje Perine, obviously we have a running back, but having another explosive back there, those 2 guys are real physical, powerful guys. But he can kind of be a good change of pace back for us. And I think he would come in and play pretty quickly with that rotation.
I love this, man. I'm going to give my feedback on this. First of all, good freaking job, man. I love what you did, my man. Before we talk about this other one, I'm going to rank this one. I'm going to give it a solid B+, man. I love what you did. Keanu Benton, I did a video on him not too long ago with one of the guys from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Mr. Jackson over there. He did a fantastic job. We did a whole video on him. This guy is going to be dope. He's first round talent. Realistically, with how deep the draft is in so many positions, he's probably going to go in round 2. This would be a fantastic pickup for the Broncos. Then you have DJ Turner, fastest cornerback in the draft. Now, a couple years ago, Dolphins had a guy named Noah Igbenehi, and he was the fastest one in the draft, and he did not pan out. So just because he's speed don't mean nothing. This guy has the speed, and he could ball lights out. That's a very good cornerback. I'm very familiar with Tyler Steen, Ricky Stromberg, familiar with him. But my favorite one on this board, believe it or not, is your last pick, Deneric Prince. So Tulsa shocked me. Deneric Prince is the reason Tulsa took and beat USC in that bowl game. Lord have mercy. That would be, and there's so many running backs that there will be guys going around 5, 6, and 7 who it may in a year or two be a day one starter. I mean, just very exciting. All right, Mike, last one. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Let's lean to our one's pops on the screen. Boom. Let's see what we got.
So obviously this one.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so obviously this one we did some trades because again, I really do think I do think George Payton could potentially go this route with trading more because he's been very adamant, and he did it with Minnesota when he was their assistant GM. With the Broncos, he's done it, and he really is focused on those 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round picks, and we've actually hit on a few since he's been there, right? Eric Dulcich, tight end, came in, and after his injury, balled right away. Demarius Mathis from Pitt came in, 3rd, 4th round pick, came in, balled right away. So I think those middle round picks is what he focuses on. John Michael Schmidt being there, he wasn't there the first draft, or I would have took him. I think that's the guy that comes in right away. And as good and solid as Kush has been, John Michael Schmidt is one of the top 2 centers in this draft. And to be able to get him at the top of the 3rd round is absolutely insane. So definitely pull the trigger. Definitely pull the trigger on that. I do believe, again, you can see this consistent picks with some corners and stuff like that. But Darius Rush is a good size corner, 6'2", very physical, good man-to-man corner, big guy. And I think that would be a phenomenal pick to have there. Wayne Morris from Oklahoma is a guy, again, I was looking at guys that were versatile. He's a guy that could play tackle and guard. We wouldn't ask him to come in and start right away, right? He could be a guy that we develop into a starter in the future. But I think we saw last year, man, we had the highest payroll on injury reserve last year. I know the Dolphins has been through some injuries, so you've experienced with something that's like when you don't have that depth. And we literally lost 3 right tackles this offseason, right? We lost 3. We only added 1 tackle. So that lets me know likely we're going to have to draft a tackle. Wayne Morris would be a great guy. Friend of the show, right? Eric Gray.
What's up, Eric Gray?
Right. And that wasn't a pick that I forced, man. He fell. And I was just like, man, this would be insane. And again, very physical runner, patient runner. He attacks the holes. And I think in the offense that we're running with Sean Payton, we're going to have multiple backs, right? Javonte Williams coming off that injury. I don't think we're going to ask him to carry the load, although I think he could be a bell cow when he's 100% healthy. But having Eric Gray in that rotation with Samaje Perine, I think would be great as well. Mike Morris, man, is one of my favorite players in this draft. Big guy. They got him as edge, but he's not a stand-up edge. He's a 3-4 edge. He's about 285 pounds. So that's a guy that can come in, set that edge, develop into that Draymond Jones type role where we did lose him. We did replace him, but our other end spot is a little bit more questionable. So a D tackle in there that developed. Raheem Jarrett, receiver from Maryland, 6 foot tall, about 185, very fluid route runner. I think I can almost, if I had to bet on anything, Doug, we're going to add a receiver, right? I think where there's smoke, there's fire. The fact that we've been looking into some trade talks for receivers, potentially Sean Payton came out and said we're not trading Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, which I agree with. I'm glad we're not. But KJ Hamler tore his pec. He's going to be out for 4 months at least, and he's had an injury history. He hasn't made it through a season since he's been with us, and I think he's a great player when he's on the field. But I definitely believe he'll bring in some receiver competition. Javion Hicks, man, safety from Cincinnati, guy that can play in the slot, guy that can play safety. And I think on that back end, we have a lot of young talent, but adding some more competition in there Special teams player for sure could come in there, play special teams right away. I think that would be great as we look to improve that. We had the 30th ranked special teams last year. So if we can improve that with a guy like him and have a backup safety, that'll be great. Corey Durden, man, is a guy that is huge, right? If you look at this guy come into a room, he's going to be one of the bigger dudes in the room. And I know sometimes the ACC isn't always thought about for having these big, physical dudes, but Corey Durden, 6'4", about 315, 320 pounds, right? Real strong. He will be the guy that plug in that middle, develop him. I don't think he's the guy that can come in right away. D tackle is one of the hardest positions, especially in that 3-4, to transition from college to the NFL right away. But he's a guy that I think could learn that position, get a little bit stronger, rotate in, and eventually turn into a long-term player for us. And then Jeremy Banks, quick, good special teams player, potentially somebody that could develop into a rotation piece. I don't think there's ever such thing as too much competition. And I'm a huge fan of drafting linebackers a little bit later sometimes. I think it's a very underrated position. And he's a guy we've always had 7th-round picks, undrafted guys make the roster. I think he's a guy I can see coming in there and competing and making the roster for us as well. So that's kind of what we did with this one.
I love it, man. I give this one an A, man. I really do, man. Especially since you're boosting up that O-line, man. Wanya Morris and John Michael Schmidt, man. Those are two guys that could potentially start, you know what I mean? And young guys too. I always love it when NFL teams draft multiple O-linemen that are going to be together for a while. You know them trenches, man. You gotta have that bond, man. That's tough as leather, right? Then of course Eric Gray. For those who don't know, to add context, both Mike and I, and also shout out to Soup, our other co-host. We got the chance to interview Eric Gray. So if that's an interview you want to check out, go in the description of our NFL interviews. You'll be able to see that there too. Very excited. He could be the next Alvin Kamara. Such a
straight dog, man. I love him.
DAWG, man. That dude is such a beast, man. Very, very familiar with Corey Durden, man. That's a guy that with the proper development could really be a star in the NFL in 2 to 3 years, man. So yeah, I like this, man. I give this it's nothing too flashy on here, man. I give it a solid A-. I like this a lot, man. I like this. And I think trading back, man, would be great, especially, give Sean Payton an opportunity to really develop this team, because real talk, the Broncos in 2 to 3 years, man, could be a huge threat, man. But obviously having O-linemen, having some that Russell Wilson really hasn't had in the last 3 years, not only last year with the Broncos, but last 2 years with the Seahawks, was getting smacked around. Very hard to develop like that, y'all. Very hard to develop. So we want them to get comfortable, and hey, let's get the old Russ back again. I think that will happen this year.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our 2023 mock draft series. We gave you 2 scenarios. You guys, the fans, go down below, vote, comment, let us know your thoughts, even if you didn't like it. Also, we cover all 32 NFL teams, and we got one of the hottest pre-NFL draft interview series on the internet. Y'all check those out, man. I think we had like 30 to 40 people who are draft prospects this year. It's been such a blast, man. Y'all hit subscribe, comment below, and we'll catch y'all next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Thanks for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where I cover all 32 NFL teams plus NFL exclusive interviews. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for the alerts, comment below, and we'll catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith.